Joining me now is New York Republican Assemblyman Jake Blumenkranz and former Democrat State Senator David Carlucci. Great to see you both. Thank you so much. So, Assemblyman, the NYPD just released stats for the first half of the year saying that it's been the safest 6 months in the city's history. You know, Commissioner Jessica Tisch, she's the police commissioner. She's done a good job, but you still see attacks like this. Can we trust that the city's actually safer?
Well, you know what, Katie? It comes down to one thing. This isn't a story about crime. It's a story about failed policies. What you've seen from the left is they've systematically, over the course of the past 20 or so years, closed inpatient care facilities throughout New York, justifiably so. Many were not in great condition. But when they offboarded all those beds, they didn't sufficiently create outpatient care that we needed here in New York, and they've also reduced what they were supposed to be doing, which was maintaining and protecting the communities that they serve. And at the end of the day, what we're seeing here is people aren't worried about who's going to win the game tonight. They're worried, am I going to get stabbed on the subway? This is a quality of life crisis in New York because we are not actually prosecuting crimes. We're not seeing out of DA Bragg's office a protection of New Yorkers who are just trying to live their life. We are seeing a defend and deflect when things like this go wrong, saying we didn't know the guy, when in reality he's been prosecuted before. Right. He's been seen to have committed crimes, and he's a known entity on the subway as someone who's constantly there with a mental health issue. Why aren't we dealing with this properly?
Yeah, we've seen that it's the same people over and over again committing these crimes. You'd think they would at least lock them up for a certain period of time. But David, the Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, has tried and tweeted today that the Department of Transportation wants to work with Amtrak to build a safer Penn Station, more security for this area. You can take Amtrak out of here. You also take local trains to parts of the city and out to the boroughs, rather, not bureaus. Do you think that the mayor, Mamdani, should take Sean Duffy up on this offer?
Of course. We should be doing everything possible to make the city as safe as possible. And look, crime has gone down statistically in New York City, but that doesn't mean that people feel safe. And that's what New York needs to do, because that deters people from traveling to the city if they just have that fear. New York has been a leader in investing in mental health services, in addiction treatment. Has it solved all the problems? No. But New York has been the incubator where these policies are tested out to solve the problems of our time. We've protected the UN General Assembly, Times Square ball drop. All these events happen with little fanfare, but we do hear about these high-profile attacks. We don't hear about the crimes that have been prevented. And that's what true. A lot of these policies are focused on, where we hear the same old rhetoric from Republicans about what happens after the crime's committed. Well, we've got to focus on that, but we also have to focus on how we prevent the crime in the first place and follow what works. Crisis stabilization teams, things like that have made a big difference.
Yeah. Assemblyman, I mean, there's a different, of course, they've done a great job with Secret Service and federal government agencies to keep things like the UN safe. And, the National Guard has been deployed in Washington, D.C. here for months on end. The crime rate has plummeted. Memphis has seen the same thing, New Orleans. So the federal government can partner with the local governments to help make the crime go down as well. Is that something that New York should be doing?
Absolutely. I mean, I've introduced a piece of legislation, the Make the MTA Safe Again app, so that New York State can step up and include what they can do for New York City to make sure that we can actually get the job done of keeping New York safer. The reality is a lot of these policies that they're introducing and seeing here to reduce crime, they're very expensive, more expensive than they should be. New York's trying to create 100 beds in Bellevue, which is where many of these people went from this event last night. And 100 beds costs $240 million. In order to meet and maintain these programs, there's a ludicrous amount of spending involved, and it comes down to the basics. Go back to what worked from the past when it came to inpatient care, but include compassionate care and outpatient care too. But we're not seeing that from the left. We're seeing a reduction in the amount of crimes that are being prosecuted, and we're not maintaining what we need to see on the streets.
Yeah, David, I mean, Bloomberg's reporting that the Trump administration is trying to increase ICE personnel in the city during the World Cup. Mamdani is saying he doesn't want them to be there. That was reported also around the Super Bowl. You said that people still don't feel safe. Well, there's a difference. You should be safe, not just not feel safe, right? So can people be safe when it comes to the World Cup in New York City?
Well, absolutely. Look, the crime rate, New York City is one of the safest large cities in America. The violent crime has decreased. And so that's the point. Yes, you are safe. But do you feel safe? That's another question. And with a lot of people moving around, of course, you've got to keep your wits with you. But New York has done this before, has protected these big events. Again, the UN meets on a regular basis there, high-profile people. Today, we have the game 3 of the NBA Finals with the President of the United States in one of the most congested areas of the country. And New York is rising to the occasion and meeting that need. But look, I think what we need to do is have a partnership with the federal government. And this is the problem when you have ICE officers that are more of an intimidation than working with local officials.
Well, I think they're trying to get violent criminals out of these communities.
Yes,
so
but
that's what they're trying to do.
Local officials, demask, right? You have a warrant.
If they weren't getting doxxed, then maybe they would be able to demask. But we appreciate both of you coming on tonight. We got to run. Great to hear from you both. I think there was a lot of agreement tonight between all of us on this issue, and we certainly want New York to be safe and for regular people to be able to go to and from work without being accosted or stabbed in the station of which they use to do that. Jake Blumenkranz and David Carlucci, great to see you both. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Katie.
Good to be with you. Thanks.